3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome back to iCarly.
4, 3, 2.
Just kidding. Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Goosebumps Podcast, Can Be Murder. Today we're reviewing book number 30. That is, It Came From Beneath the Sink. And today with me I have two co-hosts. Today with me I have Brandon Sime.
Hello.
I also have with me Josh Reviews Incorporated, also known as Senpai Josh Anime Boss, or an Otaku Life for me.
What's up, guys?
Today we're going to be reviewing, like I said, book number 30, It Came From Beneath the Sink. Very catchy title, very mid-story. So, one more book and we're officially halfway through the series, guys. How does that make you feel?
Can't wait. Crazy we've gotten that far already.
Oh, by the way, probably going to take a while to get this out, but I'm just going to throw it out, a little tidbit. I had a private conversation today on Instagram with the author, ADRO, from the series Bumps in the Night. He has agreed to join us on a podcast and review one of the episodes with us, as long as he gets to plug his book, which I think is more than fair.
Fair enough. That's awesome.
So, he'll be joining us at some point, and then he'll help us tear down a Goosebumps book, or maybe read along and give yourself. We'll get to that when the time comes, but he will be joining us at some point, so hashtag guest star.
Let's go.
And then, Brandon, I saw you watched our review, or at least some of our review today.
Yep, I watched the review.
I'd like at some point, if you ever read it, I'll review it with you, or if you want to jump on the next one, these aren't story-based where they follow canonical. So, I think they're like Goosebumps,
Canonical stories.
Yeah, every single one's its own thing, so.
Alright.
Enough jerking off somebody else. Let's jerk ourselves off. Back to the story. Book number 30, It Came From Beneath the Sink. Super duper cool cover art, very interesting story inspired by 50s-esque monster movies. But it follows our main protagonist, and this is an interesting move. We've yet to see one like this specifically, where they move, but it's within the same city. They just upgraded houses. Kat, or Katrina, but we're going to call her Kat because that's what she prefers, and her brother Daniel are moving into a new house across town. And once they reach this new house, hashtag small town moves, and that's hashtag SMOL. Anyway, once they reach this new house, their dog, Killer, which I don't like it. It's a Cocker Spaniel.
Yeah, unlucky.
More like ugly, but I am, honestly, yep, hashtag hater. I hate on ugly dogs. That's me. Not all boys are good boys. I'm just going to say it. Hate me if you will. Type down the comments. I can hear it now. Just I don't give a fuck.
How dare you? My dog is so precious.
I don't give a fuck. Some dogs are ugly. That is the truth. Their dog Killer is pawing at the kitchen sink. Cat goes underneath the sink to see what he's after, and he essentially uncovers this ugly ass brown sponge. And this sponge, it's alive. It has eyes and teeth.
Indy, are you just an asshole? Is that it? Am I just an asshole? Yeah! Well, no, I've got arms and legs, and everything.
And when Kat was like, holy shit, the sponge is alive, she goes to show her dad, or their dad. When she goes to show their dad, he's on a ladder repairing something in the house, and he magically falls off the ladder, and his first thought is, Kat, you pushed me. She didn't, but that's what he thought. From that point, Daniel's pretty apparent. He's like, I want that sponge. And Kat's like, no, we're going to throw this thing away. And so she puts it in the old Garbarooski. But Daniel, being the filthy little goblin he is a trash picker, and he goes and gets it out of the trash. Because he wants it. As the book continues, the sponge keeps causing these problems. They have a friend named Carlo. He comes over, he ends up hurting his foot. Then on the way to school, Kat has the sponge with her. A tree branch snaps and falls off and literally almost kills her. Daniel has to push her out of the way just in time to save her. When she finally shows the sponge to the teacher, the sponge plays possum and just doesn't do anything, which, of course, Goosebumps logic. And as the teacher's getting up to, walk away from them, she hits her hand on the desk. It's just causing all these problems. Eventually, Daniel comes across this book in the library called The Encyclopedia of the Weird. After they flip through it, he's like, oh, I think I know what it is. And they discover that this sponge is a gruel, which is a mythical creature that thrives on bad luck. Although, the two big things to take away from this: owners can never, ever give away the gruel. So once you have the gruel, it's like a curse. You find it, it's bound to you. It's yours.
A new hand touches the beacon.
And two, gruels are very similar to lengths.
A potato?
Which lengths are vampiric potatoes. Now that's important for later. So anyway, after school, they come home and they find out from their mom that Killer has ran off. So right now the story gone. Say cheese and die 2 camera snap style. Gone. So now we've come up on Kat's birthday party, which we don't see birthdays very much in Goosebumps, but here we are, it's Kat's birthday, and her party gets canceled because of a nasty storm that rolled in. Must have been the Gruul's fault, couldn't be weather, had to be bad luck. I don't give the Gruul credit for that one, you know, just saying, I get it, it fits the jive, but I don't give it credit, so.
That's why most of my birthdays at this point have been indoor things.
No. Hi.
Well, Florida will even be like that. We don't actually know what state she's in, so all we know is it's most likely spring or fall because she's in school. So we can eliminate winter months and summer months because 1, no school in summer, and 2, no one goes to a water park in the winter. So we've deduced it's most likely spring. Anyway, so after this, Kat's pretty upset. She decides that she's going to bury the Gruul in the backyard. Then they wake up the next morning and this literally kills off the plants in the yard. Like, it's just, everything's dead. So at this point, they dig up the sponge and Kat's just like, oh man, you're a problem. And so out of frustration, she takes her textbook and she bitch slaps it. Like, she literally smashes the thing with her textbook. And I guess the Gruul was... Well, the Gruul was, like, growing in size from, like, thriving on the bad luck and eating, like, the life of the plants. So this caused it to return to its normal size after she gave it the old smasheroonie. Which hashtag Brandon, smasheroonie. Alright, and we're back at it live with my boy Brandon Sime. Gonna do a little smasheroonie as he has. When's your next esports event?
Oh god. Oh god, I haven't heard that in years.
Oh yeah, it's been 84 years.
It's been 84 years.
Next we get to, like, I guess this is technically the climax, I don't really know. The Gruul ends up going missing, and Kat kind of freaks out, and she asks Daniel if he's seen it, and he's like, oh yeah, I let Carlo borrow it, because Carlo wanted to study it, because he was interested in the Gruul. And as they go to retrieve it, they find Carlo, like, just down on the ground. He wrecked his bike, and the case the Gruul was in is smashed, and the Gruul's missing.
Oh no, the Gruul's out? Shit.
Yeah. So they head to the park and find a bunch of kids just tossing it around and hitting it with a baseball bat to each other. This ends with a child getting blunt force trauma to the head when a kid lets go of a bat and the bat beams the kid in the face. Kat takes the Gruul and she takes it home and she's like, I've had enough of this shit. And so she shoves it into the garbage disposal and turns it on, but it doesn't die. It just crawls its way out. And then Kat's like, oh shit, I can't kill this thing. The Gruul's immortal, can't kill it. She's stuck with it for life, can't kill it, and she's like, okay, well, maybe I'll just show it some kindness. And because she shows it some kindness and affection, this quells its bad luck because good feelings, like, rot out the bad ones, I guess. It was not very explained well. Because she shows it love and affection, this slowly causes things to revert to normal, the yard starts to become healthy again, and eventually Killer comes back. And when Killer returns, he shows up with a potato.
Kill. What'd you bring me, huh? What'd you bring back? What is it?
Potato? What kind of potatoes he got? Well, one that's got teeth, like vampire teeth, because he brought back a lynx, which, dark ending, for starters. And 2, this dog's special, man. It's sniffing out mythical creatures left and right. That's 2 in one book it's found. Just saying. Something to notate here. It says the Gruul causes bad luck, but everything that happened wasn't more so bad luck as it was just, like, pain and suffering. So bad luck would be like Sam's shoe gets untied and maybe, like, the shoelace breaks, or her favorite shirt shrinks in the dryer, or, you know, her chain, like, her brand new bike pops off, something like that. Now, every single person who was affected by the Gruul gets hurt in some kind of way.
True.
I'm just saying the Gruul's just like, feed me your suffering. Which again...
You know what the Gruul reminds me of? You know those people in the world that just, like, suck out your energy?
Yeah, energy vampires.
Name is Colin Robinson, and I am what's known as a energy vampire. Hi, Deb. Energy vampires drain people's energy merely by talking to them.
Actual versus budget year to date? No thanks. You're going to be at that all day.
Yeah, it reminds me of an energy vampire, honestly.
Hashtag what we do in the shadows. Hashtag Phil.
Yeah, I love that show.
Yeah, that was the book. Was not anything special by any means. I remember as a child being very disappointed when I got this one because the cover looked so cool. I was like, ooh, there's a monster on the sink. That's scary. And then I read it and I was like, oh, this is, like, super not scary. I was not really thrilled with it as a kid. Reading it as an adult wasn't as painful as it was as a child, but it sure as hell didn't like make me go, nostalgia. So let's get to our thoughts on it, rate it, then we'll talk about the episode. So starting with Josh, what did you think about this book?
Honestly, meh. It was a book, but I don't find anything scary about a sponge.
All right, Brandon, what did you think of this book?
As a kid, I liked it. Like, yes, it's not like the scariest premise ever, but like you said, it's a very like 50s like movie monster kind of book, and I always kind of liked that part about it, where it's like it's wacky but still very fun in a lot of ways. Going back to it, it is kind of a slow burn to me. At least for when I read it, it took me a little bit to finish it, because I think I had like 2 sittings before I actually finished it.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was pretty alright.
Yeah, I mean, it was very meh. Like, is it the worst book? God, no. Is it the best book?
No.
Far from. It's definitely no werewolf skin.
Just a very like middle of the road, like middle of the pack kind of book.
You know, yeah, I'm really with you there. Like I said, it wasn't. In the world of Goosebumps, it felt like filler. I know it wasn't, but it's just like, stories like this, in my personal opinion, I feel would thrive better in a short story format like the Tales books offer. I feel like there's a couple of stories in the Tales books that can swap for a real book, and this is probably one that would have fit better in a Tales book. Just like, oh god, what was the last one we said was good for a Tales? Oh, Go Eat Worms would have been a great Tales book. Short, sweet, to the point.
That perfectly in that kind of.
And like, so this one didn't feel as dragged out as that one, but again, the entire premise is the plot keeps moving around this bad luck sponge, and really, how fucking scary can you get with that? It's like, you write yourself into a corner when you set limitations like this with the monster.
I guess my thing is too, is like, yeah, you write yourself into a corner, but say like it was a different writer, or I don't know if I should say it that way, but I guess like if you actually gave it a little bit more time to cook in the oven, maybe you could make it scary in a weird way.
Oh, definitely. I mean,
but it just didn't turn out that way.
A great example of that would be essentially, let's rewrite it real quick here just for funsies. Instead of finding it, maybe the condition was like it came with the home, and maybe the person who sold the home to their parents was like old. The person forces the sponge on the cat, like, hey, you have to take this or else your parents can't buy it. Some Goosebumps-esque twist where she does this, like she takes it for the good of her parents, and then the person who gave it to her died. And they thought maybe it was because they were old. But it turns out they were just tired.
I got a
okay, hey, fuck
question.
Me. Yeah, no, go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you're not.
Okay, does the book end the same way? I read the book a week ago, so, and I forgot. Does it end the same way as the episode does, or no? Like
I just gave you a full breakdown of how it ended. Like 5 minutes ago, I told you how the book ended.
But yeah, with using the music, right?
No. I mean, yes, the book ends with them both finding a lynx, but they didn't use music. I guess if you want to count her singing as music. Their difference and similarity, sure. Is the prospect close? Sure. Is it one for one? No. There's no big scene at school where they're like trying to get away from like mustard gas. Like I said, she realizes she can't kill the gruel, so she tries on a whim to be kind to it and to sing to it, and tell it she loves it. And because of that, like the bad luck stops it. It returns to normal sponge size, and then things revert to normal.
To throw the Gen Z twist onto this book so the viewers keep watching, she rizzed up that sponge. That is true. She was like, damn, baby girl, you looking submissive and breedable today. Oh my god, stop it!
Brandon, what's something you liked?
Like I said, I kind of liked the wackiness of like a sponge as a villain. Definitely not something I would pick, but at the same time, I was like, as a kid, it always was so like just such an oddball compared to the rest of the series that I was just like, okay, that sounds super interesting just for the fact.
Josh,
Yeah,
what's
fair.
something you liked?
I like the gruel because I like the aesthetic the book was basically a 1950s creature feature.
Yeah, like I said, so the idea was interesting. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't like super duper captivating. I didn't feel like, I mean, granted, the real threat was her giving it away, but aside from that, there really was no real danger in it, aside from bad things happening. And I don't even like to call it bad luck, because again, to me, it was just like deadly events. It was almost like a child's version of Final Destination with a little twist.
What a twist!
Yeah, I can see
Because,
that.
again, they're not dying, but every single event that happens to someone is some kind of pain-inflicted cataclysm. Like, nobody ever just had a bad day. It was always like, hurt. I mean, even they killed the fucking plants, the dog goes missing, I guess, but technically, that hurts the kids. I don't know. It just, it's as exciting as wheat bread by itself, not toasted. You know, it's got flavor, but it's not great. It's kind of bland. So, Josh, what's one thing you didn't like about this book?
The book.
I agree. Put our nuts in your mouth.
What did he say? Okay, okay. Brandon, what's one thing you liked about this book? Or disliked, I'm sorry. What's one thing you disliked?
I guess for me, probably just kind of like we were talking about how like everything is pain inflicted or that it's cursed. I kind of wish it was more like of a say cheese and die-esque where like maybe if you touch the sponge, you like, you know, you do a car accident or something.
So it inflicts bad luck upon contact.
Yeah.
I think that's a more interesting choice.
And you break an arm, something like that. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, something.
I don't know, it doesn't have to break bones necessarily, but I think the more you touch it, the more it emanates bad luck. I could see that. It's kind of like a trade-off.
Yeah.
It eats your good luck and replaces it with bad luck. Something else, just the rules would have been more entertaining or interesting, and it could have been used kind of as a weapon, like, oh, hey, this guy's a bully to me. Well, guess what? Bad luck sponge. You know, like, there would have been more interesting avenues to take. Personally, though, something I didn't like about this book is that Josh decided to cut me off while I was writing it.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding. Well, like I said, it's just a very slow burn. It's very, very mid. Is it bad? No. Does it need help? Sure. Does it stand on its own? I guess. But yeah, so let's move on to a score system, starting with Brandon. What would you score this book?
I'll give it a 6.
All right, Josh.
A 6.
Okay, I'm also going to give it a 5. 17 divided by 3. 5.6. I guess I'd rather round down than up because I don't think it's a 6 worthy, but because the majority rules and it's over 5.5, we'll round up to a 6. This book scored a soft 6 or a D+. I guess let's talk about the episode and then we'll move on to the end because there really isn't much more to do here. So, in the episode, starts out more or less the same. Kat and Daniel move. The dog paws at the sink. They find a sponge underneath it. Sponge has evil red eyes. It's freaky. One little bad thing happens after another. It's not as graphic as Dad doesn't fall off the ladder, but just like things kind of start to happen. I know that Kat at one point knocks over a glass and Daniel cuts his foot on it. Not really, but you know, story-wise. They still have the thing where the dog goes missing. They also have the thing where essentially they bury the sponge and then they paint the entire yard brown and make it look like it was killed. And as a kid, I believed it, but as an adult, I was like, wow, Canadian backyard effects.
Oh my god! Wow!
They find out it's a gruel from their friend who has the Encyclopedia of Monsters, I think. I don't think it's the Encyclopedia of Weird this time, but he has got a book on weird, crazy shit, and it talks about the gruel. He also hint drops at the links being discovered later. She takes the gruel to see her teacher. The whole birthday shenanigans kind of cut out in this one, which whatevs. You know, we get enough of the bad luck from the sponge causing stuff. They adapted like 3 or 4 events. I think about 3 events. 3 or 4 events of bad luck happening continuously to kind of show what the sponge does. So we didn't get as much back and forth of, oh my god, this bad thing happened. It must be the sponge. Daniel doesn't really seem interested in having it like he does in the book, which I thought was a nice little twist there. Kat takes the gruel to school, leaves it with her teacher. The teacher's like, nah, dude, it's just a sponge. And then essentially, Kat's like, well, can you just like watch it over the weekend and see? So once Kat finds out that she shouldn't have left it with the teacher because it can be considered her giving it away and she could die, she huddles back to school with her brother and they try to retrieve the sponge. I think Carlo goes with them too. Yeah, the 3 of them go to school to retrieve the sponge, but the janitor's there. He happens to be cleaning the same classroom they're in. When they go to retrieve the sponge, bad luck causes them to knock over some chemicals, and we have this really comical like green gas appear on screen, which is super duper bad editing, but whatever.
Oh no! Look at this mess. It's going everywhere.
And it's supposed to be like some kind of poison, and the sponge is like thriving off of it. It's getting all big. Knocks out the janitor, but he's listening to like the most corny ass soundtrack, You Are My Sunshine, and that upsets the gruel. And they kind of figure out that harmony defeats discord, and hashtag discord. Up singing, and that makes the gruel shrink. And she realizes that she's stuck with it for life, so she puts it in this like cute little glass case and decorates it all happy and plays it constant like soft remixes of the Goosebumps theme with extra like drum tracks and snares. Killer returns, and guess what? He's got a potato, and the potato's a lynx. Yes, to answer your original question, Josh, they ended similar, but it wasn't 1 for 1. And yeah, that was it came from beneath the sink. I think it translated a bit better into a visual aspect because, again, reading it was just so boring imagining it, but watching it was not as painful. Brandon, one thing you liked and then disliked.
One thing I did like was I actually thought the sponge was kind of neat as a kid, like the design of it. And also, I genuinely can't remember the scene, but I remember there was like a part of that episode that they always used to constantly use on the Hub channel. Dislike, I guess, just pacing. It was just a very slow episode.
That's fair. Josh, like and a dislike for the episode.
What I liked about the episode was I liked the gruel, honestly. I liked the effects they used for it. And the episode, that was pretty cool looking. What I didn't like, probably the idea of a potato that is a vampire.
Because you put your wiener in its mouth?
No, because I'm Irish and we like potatoes.
That's fair. That's fair. Like I said, it's just very middle of the road for me. I did like the vampire design of the potato. I thought the links looked super duper cool. You know, they put some effort into that, which had to put budget into something since they spent all that money on not killing plants. It's a very corn story. Could have switched out the potato for a vampire corn on the cob because it was so corny. You know, it's no Dead House episode-wise, but it sure as hell ain't no Ghost Next Door either, so. Alright, let's go with a rating system for the episode and then wrap things up. Brandon, give me a rating 1 through 10.
I'll give it a 6 as well.
Okay, Joshy?
I'll give it a 6.
Okay, well, 666 makes the number of the beast. I'm going with that as well. Episode gets a 6. Hashtag Satan.
Thanks, Satan.
It's 13, actually.
Got it.
Anyway, yeah, it was a D-ranked episode. Like I said, was it the worst? No. Would I rather watch this than The Ghost Next Door? Yes. Would I rather watch this than The Ghost Beach? Sure. Go Eat Worms? Sure. Haunted Mask? Fuck no. Closing statements, then we'll talk about the next episode, starting with Brandon.
Again, very middle of the road. It was definitely interesting to go back to.
Okay. Josh?
Next time you see a sponge, it might be a gruel.
So be careful which one you use for your homemade fleshlight. We all know what we're talking about. Anyway, I almost feel like it'd be more interesting if the Lynx was the main villain versus the Gruel. Just because vampires more scary than bad luck. But anyway, not important. What is important is that it's over. So, as always, thank you for suffering through another episode with us. We hope you enjoyed today's content. If you did enjoy Goosebumps Candy Murder, you should maybe consider clicking some of those buttons like, subscribe, comment, share. And if you really freaking feel like it, if you really, really do, you can jump on our Discord and chat with us about stuff. We talk about Goosebumps and other regular stuff. We've got different channels. And we also talk about the next episode we're going to review in there sometimes. Come on through to Goosebumps Podcast, Candy Murders Discord. We'll stab you in the next one.
Catch you later, guys.